Hi, today we're going to talk about locating a hole in a table. Now, this is a table we got from a thrift store, and it's a nice little school desk table made out of oak. Nice thing about it is it's got a square edge here. Now, this is a radius edge, so we have to take note of that because you want to locate your machine so that these pads on these legs are away from that radius. You want that to be nice and flat. So the radius starts there. I've given it a nice little clearance there so we don't have to worry about the leg falling onto that radius. Okay, so I put some tape under each leg, just like this. And also the machine, if you want to look over here, again, when you're mounting the machine on a table, you have to have a little overhang on these feet. Because that way you have a nice straight line of clamp pressure to keep this from going one way or the other. So this is mounted very solidly. We've got the clearance here. This is square to the machine. Now we're just going to pencil around. I'm going to do a pencil line around the pads.
Why are you doing that?
Well, this is going to help us locate the hole that we want. We want a 9-inch hole centered to these legs. That way the legs have plenty of surface area. It's not going to get into that hole area. So it's an alignment thing. Okay, after you've got those penciled, you can remove the machine. So now I've got a little gimmick here. If you have we'll be looking at drawing a circle here later, but if you don't happen to have a beam compass, you can just use a piece of wood. I've got a 1/4-inch hole and an 1/8-inch hole, exactly 4.5 inches apart on center. So that we're going to be using just as soon as we locate and find that center. So I've got a straight edge here. Oh, for a scale, I have a little scale marks here. It's 5/8 inch either side of the center line. We can use that to locate the center of the hole, just like that. What did I do? Oh, okay.
Are you cutting holes for the legs?
Nope. This is just to find some marks. I think I got to do it this way. And you can actually do it by eye, but you can use this as a reference. There, now we're in business. If you want a nice, what happened to that mark? There we go. So now we've got, centers on all of these. Okay. And get a straight edge. Any old ruler or anything. And line up those centers. Let's strike a mark. You can see it's poking in there because I already have the hole, but I'm just showing you how you are going to locate where that hole goes. Let's put it this way so you can see what I'm doing. Again, just lining it up to the X's. All right. So now we have a place located for the center. And this happens to be a, a machinist block for drilling a perpendicular hole. You could make the same thing out of a scrap of wood on a drill press. The idea is you want a nice perpendicular hole going straight down. And that's what this is going to do. You would line up the crosshairs in the 1/4 inch hole in this case. And then you would drill down. You're going to be drilling a through hole. It's already been done, so I won't do that, but you'll see that I'd be drilling a through hole all the way through the table. I guess it's this hole here. That's the one I should have.
This is what drills should be used for, not for powering your Addy.
Yeah. Good point. So anyway, we'll have the hole drilled perpendicular because we're using a reference. And through the magic of having done this already, we'll reveal there's the 1/4 inch hole. And you no longer need these, so let's take those off. That 1/4 inch hole is going to be our reference for a compass. And like I showed before, if you don't have a beam compass is pretty handy. I have one, but I thought I'd just show a real quick way to get along without it if you don't happen to have one. So now I'm going to just tape.
Just reuse that other tape.
Oh, only we don't want to waste around here, but this is worth it. We'll show you how it's done from the beginning.
Larry's a guy who paid attention in math classes, you can tell.
A little geometry. Really isn't much involved here. It's going to end up being a pentagon, I believe. Yeah, 5 sides. You can get the idea that I'm just kind of following where that hole's going to go.
Now, if you don't have a woodworking husband, or if you aren't handy yourself, if you don't know any woodworking friends, check with your local high school woodworking department, and maybe they would cut a hole in your table. This is a table we found at a thrift store, so you don't have to ruin a good table that you already have unless you wanted new furniture.
This table is very flat, though, so that's very important, as I always stress. So now we've got enough tape to do a circle. Okay, so I just put my pencil here. Get it nice and dark so you can see it. Okay, now from here, there's 2 ways you can go. There's an extra option if you want. If you have you're going to need a scroll saw. And of course you do a starter hole and you do your scroll saw cut pretty close to the pencil line. And then you can use a sanding drum on a drill if you want to just smooth out those rough cut edges. But the other option, the one that I'm going to show, you'll be using the scroll saw, but you're going to be cutting short to, you're going to leave some space. You're going to cut so you leave a pencil line on there for sure. And that will be enough to trim with a router. And so an important step for that. So we've got the hole. I'm going to be using a temporary support underneath, and we have to screw that into place. So I'll show that next. So the critical part is done, just finding that hole, because that's really important to get that correct. And this is good to discuss a little bit about tables, because this table is just absolutely ideal. So you can see this is all open here, so you aren't going to have to worry about the hole intersecting wood like here, because it's all open. Now this is going to go so we can locate that now. Put a identifying mark on one leg of it. Well, you can see all this is just a half-inch plywood that I have, scrap plywood, and there's a 1/4-inch bolt with the head cut off, and that's going to be our alignment that the router is going to travel on. So there's A. I'm going to mark this A. I'll put some tape on there. It's kind of hard to see with that finish. Okay, I'm going to mark that A. And
Now, if you live in northeast Wisconsin, I might rent out Larry to do a table you find.
okay, so now it's ready to actually do.
I'm gonna pause.
Okay, so now we've got this upside down. We've got this through the hole. Got one marked A. I have tape on here so I don't go through the surface, because we're going to just put these screws in. So I'm going to drill to the that tape edge. Now we're just mounting this temporarily. You want to take it off before you start cutting your circle. Otherwise you're going to cut right through it. So, okay, there's one. Don't really have to put this in there, but I thought I'd just show you. So that's going to be our pivot point for the router to pivot on. So now we want to take it off and set it aside. Okay, and then we'll show you in the shop later.